go inside, it's like a sound and light show. It's an art digital center. It's the largest art digital center in the world. Basically, you walk inside the submarine base, and all around you, on the walls and on the water basins, you have the paintings of Dali and Gaudi all around you. The paintings of Dali and Gaudi projected into the walls of the submarine base. Every year it's a different show. Last year it was about Venezia. The year before it was about Impressionism. So it's pretty nice that they use the submarine base to convert it to a digital center, art digital center. Voilà, but that's really the area that suffered from the war. That's this part of Bordeaux around the submarine base. As the Allies troops tried to get rid of it, they dropped bombs on the submarine and they destroyed many houses around. Voilà. Otherwise, we did not suffer too badly from the war. The battlefields where the battles were, that's in the north of France, Normandy, Brittany. So here we are far from L'Île-et-Landais. A little anecdote about the war, it's a love story between a German soldier and a woman from Bordeaux, the Bordelaise. It's a love story that saved the port of Bordeaux, because when they left Bordeaux, the Germans, at the end of the war, in August 1944, they wanted to blow the port of Bordeaux. On their way out, they wanted to blow the port of Bordeaux. So there was one soldier, Heinz Stolschmidt. He received the order to blow the port of Bordeaux, to place mines all around the port to blow it. But because he was in love, he refused. And instead of blowing the port of Bordeaux, he blew the bunker with all the explosives inside. So he saved about 3,000 lives, the economy of the port. He married the woman from Bordeaux. He worked for the port of Bordeaux. And voilà, nice story. To the right, this building to the right that we are passing, it's a gym now, but it was a train station from where the wines coming from the Médoc were unloaded. The wines coming from the Médoc were unloaded in the train station here, and the wine was kept here. So some houses, like the one to the left, you can see a big door. You see the one to the left, the blue door, because the barrels were entering those buildings, the barrels, and the wine was kept here by the wine machines, was kept here and aged here and bottled here. Before, the bottling was made by the wine machines. Now the bottling is made at the chateau. Look to the left, this was a wine machine house. The wine machine family left, they destroyed everything inside. If you look to the left, it's going to be a beautiful hotel. But the wine machine family is gone. Another example of an old wine merchant house, the one coming to the right, 19th century, where the palm trees are, 19th century wine merchant house, converted into a hotel. So I call this district like a mini wine city. It was really where the wine merchants worked and lived. Another very big door here to the right coming. Right now. Voilà. But now that the wine is kept at the chateau and bottled at the chateau, the wine merchants left this area. So my generation, this district was a bit abandoned, but now it is the place to be in Bordeaux. We are going to see very elegant houses. To the left, you can just see the feet of it. Statue of the Liberty. You can see the feet of the Statue of the Liberty to the left, hidden between the trees.
Yeah.
Small version, just a little bit smaller. Merci Gérard. From the big one in New York, made by the same artist as the big one in New York. So you know the big one in New York, Statue of the Liberty, but the same artist made small versions of it. dispatched everywhere in France. There are 2 in Paris. We had the original one, the same one that made by the same artist as the big one. Unfortunately, the original one that we had was stolen by the Germans to be melted because it was made of bronze. So this is a copy of the original one that we had. Martinique Street, if you look to the right, Boulangerie, right now, Boulangerie, the oldest boulangerie, the oldest bakery in Bordeaux. They still bake the bread in the same oven since 1765. 1765. Voilà. Ralentis un tout petit peu. Merci Gérard. Look at this cute street here. Notre Dame Street. Look to the right. It's very cute. This district is now the antique shops street. Antique shops. There are about 60 antique shops in this district of the Chartrons. We named this district the Chartrons. So it's nice. It's like a little village inside Bordeaux. If you look to the left, this huge building where the wine was kept, labeled and bottled by the wine merchants. So now we are coming to the river, the Garonne River. We are still on the same bank as the Médoc. We are on the left bank of the Garonne River. We were on the left bank of the estuary, and we are going to go along the river now. Voilà, so my generation, this area was a bit abandoned. The wine merchants left. It was a good time to buy an apartment because of all the wine merchants that left. But now, the same apartment, you could sell it for 3 times more, 4 times more. So it was a good investment, but I was too young, I had no money. Voilà, now you're going to see the Garonne River, and then the beautiful, very nice houses here to the right. 18th century, Bordeaux is an 18th century town. Look, limestone, beautiful facades from the 18th century. Look, very big doors, like the brown doors. Houses from the wine merchant in the past, but now everybody wants to come and live in the Chartrons. It's very expensive, overlooking the river, not far from the center. Everything is from the 18th century, besides those 2 houses now, those twin houses, they date from the 17th century. They were built by a French wine merchant, and it's still a French wine merchant family that lives inside. Few wine merchant families are still here in the Chartrons, in this district. Just few of them. There were wine merchants coming from Northern Europe, UK, like the Rothschild, England, the Bartons, Ireland, the Schiller, Germany. So there was 2 Bordeaux. The Protestant Bordeaux here. There was a Protestant temple here and an Anglican church here in the Chartrons, in the district. Speaking English was the main language, wine merchants, and then the Catholic Bordeaux with the churches a little bit further away. Voilà, we are going to come to a square where there is a carnival going on. Normally it's a square that is most of the time empty, a big square. One of the largest squares in Europe. Normally the square is empty, but we use it for carnivals, fairs, flea markets, etc. Alors, before to be empty, this square that is coming to our left, there was a huge fortress here built. A huge fortress. You have to imagine a big fortress built here in the 15th century, removed in the 18th century. But there was a big fortress here with the cannons pointing toward the city in case it was needed. Alors why a fortress here? Because it's complicated, but from the 12th to the 15th century, we belong to the English crown, Aquitaine. This big region of Aquitaine was English. France is divided into 13 regions, and this one here, Aquitaine, was English. Because of a marriage, because of the Duchess of Aquitaine who married the English king. And because this duchess married the English king, we were English, we belonged in France. This region belonged to the English crown. From the 12th century to the 15th century, for 300 years, this was an English territory. So it's a little bit strange to imagine that in the country of France there was this land, this part, and Aquitaine is the richest. Aquitaine is the largest region in France, and it was in the 12th century the largest region in France. And there was a big war against the French, because here this is English territory, 12th to 15th century English territory. The enemy are the French. The war lasted for 116 years. We call it the 100 Years' War. And finally the English lost in 1453. They lost the last battle of this war, and Aquitaine became French again. But we were not happy. We wanted the English king back. We want the English king back. Big protest in Bordeaux. So the king of France said, okay, that's it. I'm going to build a huge fortress with the cannons pointing toward the city. If you are not happy. In the 18th century, we removed the fortress, and now sometimes there is a carnival like the one we passed. Concerts have been to Pink Floyd in the square. In front of us is the public park, the Central Park of Bordeaux. The beautiful houses around us is one of the most expensive districts in Bordeaux, this area here. Limestone was extracted since the Roman times. Bordeaux was one of the major towns of the Roman Empire. Bordeaux is an old town, a Roman town. It was called Bourse. There was a huge amphitheater, there was a huge temple, and fortunately we did not keep the Roman buildings. We dismantled them to use the limestone to build other buildings. So we don't really have any memories from the Roman period. So old town of Bordeaux, then Middle Ages. The town was protected by a wall in the Middle Ages to be protected by the enemy, who were the French. And in the 18th century, we were the richest town in the country. Why? Why was Bordeaux the richest town in the country in the 18th century? Second richest town in Europe after London, Bordeaux, 18th century. We were the richest town in the country in the 18th century, but Bordeaux was still like a medieval town with very old houses, wooden houses, very narrow streets. So the King of France, 18th century, beginning of 18th century, sent his own architect, his own town urbanist to reshape Bordeaux. 18th century. So the main architect who came in Bordeaux is in front of us, the statue of Tourny. He was what we call an intendant, the intendant of the king outside Paris, the representative of the king outside Paris. And Tourny reshaped Bordeaux, and now we have very long, since the 18th century. So most of the narrow streets were destroyed, wiped out. The old Bordeaux was wiped out. The old houses were wiped out to rebuild very long, very large streets. And neoclassic architecture around us, 18th century. Alors, we were rich in Bordeaux in the 18th century. Wine, of course, but thanks to the sugar trade. Sugar that we brought back from the West Indies, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Haiti, Haiti, really. We brought back sugar, coffee, cacao, indigo, and that was the wealth of Bordeaux in the 18th century. And of course, wine. Voilà, so very soon be prepared. Perfect driving from Gérard. Merci Gérard. He's bringing us, driving us perfectly on time by the opera. In front of us is the opera house. At the same spot where there used to be a Roman temple, now we have the Grand Theatre, the opera house, and exactly where Gérard is going to drop us off. I would like to meet you at 10 to 3, 5 to 3, please, to go back to the ship, and we will have at least 2 hours drive. Make sure to use the restroom before to leave Bordeaux. I stay with you now. Stay with me. We all get off, and we go in front of the opera house, where I will help you with the directions. Okay?
No. Alright, well, there is a big rugby work right now, being played right now. France, 5 games were played in Bordeaux. Here in the stadium to the right. The All Blacks, you know the All Blacks team, they came here. And last Friday we won against Italy, France. Voilà, so we're arriving to the center of Bordeaux. Here this is more like the where you find the department stores, the big malls outside Bordeaux. It's a medium-sized town, Bordeaux, compared to Paris. 300,000 inhabitants in Bordeaux. 300,000 with the suburbs. About 900,000 inhabitants. It's Bordeaux is my town. I was born in Bordeaux, raised in Bordeaux, but I left for the US because I had the opportunity and because Bordeaux was very quiet. My generation, my time, Bordeaux was called the beauty asleep. It was called the beauty asleep before because we had the same mayor for 42 years. 42 years, same mayor. So he was kind of really respected by my grandparents because at the end of the war, of the Second War, he was part of the resistance. But the new generation wanted him to go. And finally, we've got a new mayor, Alain Juppé, around the year 2000. And I usually say that this new mayor gave the second facelift to the town. And now Bordeaux is booming. Bordeaux is booming, and everywhere around Bordeaux you will see cranes, and buildings are growing like mushrooms. One year toot toot, and the next year toot toot toot. Mushrooms everywhere, buildings everywhere. Voilà. To welcome about 10,000 people every year. 10,000 new people are coming every year in Bordeaux to live. So there are new districts being built around Bordeaux. Donc Gérard, quand on sera sur les quais,
Jacket. Jesus, it's not going to be all over us.
this way
Yeah.
to this fountain here?
There's a Ferris wheel.
Yes, well, yeah, it's the carnival. Yeah.
Carnival. Yeah.
That's a nice wine shop to the left, the tourist office to the right, and in front of us, yeah. This fountain, this monument in front of us was erected 100 years after the French Revolution. You know what was the French Revolution? We got rid of the monarchy. We got rid of our king and the queen and the nobility, etc. And so to commemorate the 100 years anniversary of the French Revolution, in 1883 we had this monument put in place. It's for the glory of the Republic. It's to commemorate our first Republic put in place after the French Revolution. So at the top of the column there is an angel. We call it the Angel of Liberty. And this Angel of Liberty, it has on their left hand a broken chain, broken from oppression, a broken chain, and on the right hand she's holding the laurel branch, symbol of peace. Voilà, Angel of Liberty, flying free at the top of the monument. Then all the horses are in bronze. There are 34 sculptures in bronze. And again, during the time of the occupation, the Germans dismantled all the horses. They had put everything in a train. They wanted to melt the bronze. But the resistance in Bordeaux was able to reroute the train, take the horses back. Everything was hidden in the north of France. It was so well hidden that it was completely forgotten. And we have the monument back since 1983. So long time after the end of the Second War.